So I think I'm in the business of reversing my trade. That's going to be the big topic of this one, just going through how that actually looks. Now, Walshy was the boy to come in. For one, I think there are a few really good options, and he may not be the perfect one. We have him not actually goal kicking for half that game the other day. Probably won't have Reynolds back in this one, but generally the worries of potential restings from a collection of my players, the Tarpanese of the world, Hosking, potentially Roosters, if things go a certain way, they may just be locked into 8th and having no real need to flatline their players. We've got guys like Karaz, might not play next week. So there's a fair few things that could happen. And the trade I was looking to use, was, Dewey. Gornskis, it probably doesn't matter, if it's him or Garrick that leaves the side, given they're both out. So it's probably more of a positional thing overall. And if Payne Haas is actually out, then I think we'll definitely trade if we find out that he is out. And in that case, it would be in the 24-hour update, I think, for Payne in this one. Yeah, I'd have to make the decision for Garrick to be traded out. Like if I wasn't to trade out Dewey in that Saturday 3 p.m. game, it would be before that next one. So the only problem there is I think that for Payne, we'd have to be most likely waiting until that hour before to make that decision. And there's a fair few, if we do find out earlier, there's a fair few guys that we could trade Garrick to that are under that 670 type range. The other thing that was mentioned, shout out to Osto for this one, Herbie Farnworth likely to return next week. Now he could be a really, really fun entry into our teams next week, and I could go Adam Dewey to Farnworth, can I? Oh, I can't even do it. No. Oh, destroying my hopes and dreams in one hit. Well, if there's other restings, I could do it, couldn't I? If Tarpany was out or something like that. No, I couldn't even do it then. Who would it have to be? Someone just under 700k. Hines, JC, Haas. Oh man, it's actually not that many. But anyway, it just give me positional flexibility as well. Let's just say I only have a few out, but I do lose 2 from the same position. I do seem to be well covered for duels and stuff like that. So I think generally I'm going to wait probably until looping to decide. So guys like Tarpanay, I have a little bit of a worry with. So, but similar to that with Nafahu White. So at this stage, my worst player would be like King Tonga. My second worst player, if we're basing off last week, it's Nafahu White. Then it may be, Tarpanay if he was to get a singular, effort, a 28-minute sort of one go, and if they're out to a decent lead, won't have to come back out and play. Generally, the rest of the team is looking solid with Dewey, Garrick, and Cleary out. So I'm personally, as you can tell, not satisfied with how it's playing out this week, and very thankful that I have currently 18 players available. If I was to make one more trade, I'd go to 19, and there are a lot of teams that are in a pretty average position this week. So it could potentially be the week to push, but we could also end up in a situation where round 27 is difficult to fill a side. It may also be fine, considering we're having a few of the Storm boys. I don't have any. So for Munster next week, it doesn't bother me. We've got the Cleary Panthers coming back next week, which would be good. And then if you have any, of the Rabbitohs, I personally don't have any, what are they called? My team, Cowboys. Personally don't have any of those guys. So generally, I think I will be in a decent position for next week, but it might be ideal to have that flexibility. So in saying all that, if I was to wait until looping Tarpanay, then I don't have access to Reece Walsh because I'd be going Garrick up, and in that case would have 683 available, and leaves me a little bit short for a couple of those guys like Walsh, unfortunately. But Carrigan's there, Iro's there, Drinkwater's there, and then you've got guys like DCE could come in. They're kind of the main guys I'd be looking at, to be honest with you there. Adam Fennell-Blake's not a bad shout either at 598. I have him up in a decent sort of stratosphere this week. So that's generally where we're at for the side. In terms of looping, assuming that I'd make no trades, I think safety-wise as well, like if we're still wanting to captain Haas, minutes could be a problem, definitely, with him as captain. But if he wasn't to play and I captained him, Terrell May, I'd just sit as my vice just for safety. Carraz could go nuts, but he also, that was the first 50 in like 4 weeks. So, you don't know which Panthers team is going to turn up. They've had very much New South Wales Cup-based sides come out and do really well. So he was going to be my vice, but with the Haas news, either changing captaincy or just having the vice on Terrell could be the smarter play. The other cool captaincy option this week, I think, is Jaden Campbell, who a few people are looking at. Him against the Dolphins, 4 p.m. on Sunday, could be really fun. So he's like the cool one. You got Walshy as well as a fun play, and I think it's Terrell and Payne Haas. Nico Hines could be interesting as well. Does feel, somewhat risky. There could just be a 50-odd, but yeah, we know that's the name of the game. And then Tino would have to score another try, you'd imagine, to get a big score like that. Wouldn't be going for a Tarpany or anything like that this week. So yeah, we're getting near the end of the season, guys. One trade left for me. We'll string it out and use it in round 27. That'll be the question. But we'll loop first and decide from there. Now, positional looping, having Cleary straight in the half is the only way you can loop Nathan. Because if you put him in 4, whoever you put in 5 is just automatically in your side. So you can't actually loop in 5. Is the reason why it doesn't work that way. You can loop in half. How I would work it with King Tonga is that he would be looped with an Isaiah Katoa in this scenario. And it's not great, really. The main reason you'd want to have this scenario was in other weeks where you had 2 halves that you weren't super excited about. And you're like, well, one of them could go really well. So therefore, King Tonga would sit in like a 5 or a 6 even, and then you can decide from there how you want to play that one. If you want to leave Katoa in the side and take that score instead of King Tonga, or put him behind, right? So King Tonga likely going to sit in the 7 position at this point, just as a last resort. I think he's probably going to have the lowest score, but he's up against Manly, and we don't know how that one's going to play out. So unfortunately, can't really loop him properly, but likely I'm going to have a half on my bench that will take control, which will be an Isaiah Katoa, most likely. Now, Naf White, I think we want to loop with as well. So just moving Dewey into that one to start with. Could just be Garrick, actually, smarter to pop into that position, given he plays that smidge later. Yeah, so Dewey is very unlikely to be used in this one, unless it's in the half position, the center position. But again, in that one, I'll be able to do that, won't we? So Carraz will just lock in there. Dewey can slot into the center position. And you can see there at this point, Turbo is the guy on that list for the centers that we can loop with. The other one I wanted to have a look at looping was Teddy, but I think you should have a better game. Sometimes just got to back him in, hey? So there's that there. How I set up this loop has to be worked out, I think, because then we're going to look at potentially making that trade as well. So it can be a bit wild for your head, but this is why you guys can ask the experts on looping, and we can sit there and work out your sides for you. But it's hard to do on video. But yeah, Naf White, Tarpany are the guys I'm slightly worried about. Hosking, I think we'll just lock in because I think at least he'll play the 60 minutes. Taps could just be the one stint. So with White at 6, he's going to play before Taps. So that's why we put him in that 6th position. King Tonga is a couple of goes after that, but he's unlikely to be taken. But the theory with that one is, how would that one work? Well, all my loopers are going to have played by that position. So interesting. Yeah, he'd definitely have to be taken. He's going to have to stay down there regardless, isn't he? So really it's just if we make the trade or not, King Tonga will come in. Yeah, I'm going to have to leave that to a lead or problem, I think, at this point. Turbo, you're in that starting side. So yeah, that's where we're at for now. team should go okay. I think we'll still make some ranks this week, but how many will depend on if I burn that trade and what we decide here, based on looping as well. So yeah, we'll figure it out. I think we might have to loop the other guys in a 5 or a 6, a 6 or 7. This one's actually one of the harder looping weeks. So yeah, that's where I'm at in trades. Big good luck to everyone sitting in the top ranks. For Andrew, we're hoping and praying. We've got our fingers and toes crossed for you, but big man, 103 points ahead. To Jake in 5th, to Tyson in 7th, very, very close together. They're only almost 60 points apart. So good luck to you guys in that one in the top 10. Hoping to have 3 guys in the top 10 with one of them being the winner will be absolutely incredible. So good luck to all you guys. Good luck to everyone else that is playing, is still watching. You're all legends, and we'll leave it there. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you in the reviews, but also for round 27.